What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome back to another episode of Respect the Game Podcast. My name is Edward, named after a great man, that being my pops. Shout out to my mother and my grandmother for helping raise me too. Please make sure you go follow at EMAX Stats for all your up-to-date high school, pro, and collegiate sports coverage. We'll not disappoint. We'll keep you up to date on all that is going on in the beautiful, illustrious sports world. Right now, as you can see on your screen, if you're watching and not listening, right now we got the 2-on-2 going, but yeah, we expect to possibly be at full strength. But nonetheless, what is a podcast without your brothering?
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. My name is Sedacious Miles, and I just want to say thank you so much for rocking with the Respect the Game podcast. We really appreciate it, even though I just said podcast a little weird just now. Go follow our brothers at Black Peace, at Shy Heart Izzo. Um, and we finna do this. Get ready. Co-op Wallet is taking over the world, coming to an Apple phone or Android phone near you. And yeah, and we stand with the longmen on strike right now as well. Well, at least I do. So let's get it.
Yeah, man. Hopping straight to it. Right now, the latest news in the NFL, outside of the Chiefs being 4-0 and losing Rashid Rice due to injury, as well as the Minnesota Vikings pretty much shaking everybody and also being undefeated. Outside of that news, the latest news in the NFL that is that has everyone's attention is Davante Adams being on the trading block. The Raiders announced. Adam Scheffner reported that we open to listen to potential trade offers for Davante Adams. There was the comments last week by head coach Antonio Pierce after they had lost. I forget who they lost to, but after they lost, saying in the post game press conference, he felt like guys made business decisions in terms of maybe electing not to play. um, and so, yeah. And then there was another post on social media today about Davante Adams potentially being traded, um, or being like, yeah, possibly being traded. And apparently, I think um, Antonio Pierce liked the post that said it was rumored that Davante Adams was going to be traded or possibly get traded. Um, with all of that going on and surrounding the situation with the Las Vegas Raiders, not the Oakland Raiders, excuse me, the Las Vegas Raiders. Uh, Dacius, where could you see a potential landing spot for Davante Adams being right now?
In all biasness, I'm gonna say the Dallas Cowboys because we could definitely use them, and it's been seeming like we need him. Jake Ferguson is back, so we'll see. After playing the Giants, I don't think the Giants is a good test to see if the Cowboys' offense is um, fluid yet. So, but just if I had to take a good stab in the dark, I'm always wish my team good fortune. So, I mean, of course, there are many other teams who could use him and whose system he probably fit better in. Pause. But yeah, that's all I can think about. I saw a post today on Twitter that was saying that we traded for Amari Cooper to get him when he was with the Raiders. And it had a picture of Davante Adams with the Raiders right next to it. And the caption said, Cowboys, what y'all gonna do? And I'm like, right, right. Well, are we just gonna let Dak only have a tight end and a receiver, one number one receiver to throw to with no rushing attack and seemingly not being able to stop the run as well? We're not gonna really give him weapons as well and try to win games. So I don't know. Maybe I'll get lucky and I'm manifesting it right here today, right now. So I don't know, but I would like to see that. Especially since Davante Adams, to me, in my opinion, is still the best receiver in the league. I would love to see that.
Do you? I think the only thing that you could argue that would get in the way of the Cowboys getting Davante Adams is a Jerry Jones. So, do you think Jerry Jones understands the magnitude of the opportunity that this could be for the Cowboys if he were able to pull off essentially a win now type of trade, being able to get Davante Adams?
Um, right now, no. Simply because Dak doesn't look like he is not doing well with the weapons he has. In the event that Dak doesn't have enough weapons, and it doesn't matter how good he is, if they're not catching the ball, if they're not getting open, if they're not causing separation, what else could he do? He can't run the routes for him. If it's starting to look like that, then I can see Jerry Jones flirting with the idea, but still not being smart enough to actually figure out how to get it done in a timely fashion to where we could actually win now, right? So with that being said, no, I don't think so. And I think if the trajectory is Dak's bad play and not Dallas's bad defensive play, then yes, I can see Jerry Jones wanting to look into the market. But then in that moment, I would believe it'll be too late. And that's what makes a good GM, having foresight sometimes. So, you know, yeah, that he possibly was standing in the way of it, either not recognizing and realizing, or being too late when he does.
What other potential landing spots that could possibly happen? You have the New York Jets, Pittsburgh Steelers, Washington Commanders, Buffalo Bills, Los Angeles Chargers, as well as the Ravens and the Chiefs. If not the Cowboys, where else do you think could be a potential? I think a potential landing spot. Real quick, I think him going to the Chiefs would be like ridiculous, but I also don't feel like the Raiders are going to trade him inside the division. Um,
Right. And when you said Buffalo, I was thinking, that sounded nice because you get Josh Allen another piece with the way he just, find ways to make plays. I can see Buffalo being a credible threat deep in the postseason, especially with the defense. Right? They can't help that better offense will always be better defense, and that's how they got smacked up by the Ravens. But the rest of the league, I don't see as high powered as them as the Baltimore Ravens. So to where Buffalo could be scary at the right time. So him going to Buffalo does sound like it could be something. The Chiefs and the Ravens, that's cheating, right? That's cheating. We would agree that that's cheating, right? But Buffalo is like, okay, yeah, Stephon Diggs leave, bring in another key guy, and get Josh Allen back to where he's used to being.
uh, yeah, our brother Black Peace in the building joining us right now. The conversation at hand, Black Peace, Davante Adams request a trade. Um, for you, where do you foresee a potential landing spot being for Davante Adams?
I would say, oh, the Chiefs, hands down. Absolutely. Chiefs.
I just mentioned that literally before you logged on. And my only, I guess, rebuttal to that is like, do you think the Raiders want him gone so bad to the fact they would trade him inside the division?
I don't think it's a want him gone. I think it's just a respect of right now. I think clubs need to be able to show that they can show some respect to players. And I feel like it's one of those moments of the Raiders need to show some kind of good rapport of business between players. And I feel like if you let Davante go, even though that'd be a hard, tough pill to swallow, I feel like it gives the opportunity for that organization to show, like, hey, man, you can come over here, you can play for us and we won't hold you over here hostage. And you can feel free to try the Raiders out without feeling like, okay, we're going to be stuck with you forever. So I think that's an option of, even though it's inside a division, it just gives that little bit of like, hey, man, we care about your future rather than, just bringing you all the way down and letting you die with us. You know, um, I will say either Kansas City or I could say back to Green Bay. But I mean, I think that probably won't happen because I believe he favors Aaron Rodgers over any other quarterback as far as if he was going to be back in Green Bay. He would only want to do it with Aaron Rodgers. So that's kind of dead. But yeah, Chiefs, man. That's all I can think of.
Or the
I mean,
Cowboys.
also, you think about Terrell Owens. It happened with Terrell Owens.
He did come to the Cowboys.
He went to the Cowboys. So I'm not sure if that was a trade or not or free agency, but, at the end of the day, like, even though they rivals, it's like, what's best for my future at this point?
And good luck trying to hold CeeDee Lamb and Davante Adams. You can't double team that many times.
So are y'all familiar with the Atlanta Hawks player AJ Griffin?
I got familiar with it before we started tonight.
Okay. What do you think about him saying he's quitting playing basketball? He gave up basketball to follow Jesus. What are your thoughts on that?
Whenever something like this occurs with someone, I always have a fourth dimensional perspective and opinion, and I have a third dimensional perspective and opinion. And I watched something lately that's gotten me wanting to speak from both sides. And I'll start with my third dimensional opinion. My third dimensional opinion is it would look like I can see how it looks like a cop out. I can see how it looks like you're choosing to not excel at the highest level, choosing to be lazy rather. But I would say that that's judgment, right? In the third dimension, I understand how someone can feel that way, but I would say, hey, that's you doing God's job. You cannot tell people what and how to do with their life and try to persuade them and so on and so forth. So with my fourth dimensional answer, I say I love this because this is what the world needs more of, right? And these type of things are the tough things that the soldiers in the army of the Lord have to do that the foot soldiers wouldn't really be able to do. And when I say foot soldiers, I mean the ones who just like kind of starting in their faith, right? Who kind of giving their life to God, but ain't really got to the point where he has your whole entire life, right? When the Lord has your whole entire life, bro, I definitely understand doing something like this and I love it. And I'm not going to say I wish more people would do it. It's just, I wish more people would follow whatever ministry that they have in their heart before they follow whatever it is, whatever path that you can take that will bring you worldly riches and worldly status and all those different things that the world has to offer, right? Because this is the enemy's territory, for real. And for someone to be able to recognize that and make a decision like this on a grand scale, I say hats off to you and I commend you from the fourth dimension because I understand that nobody will understand that. But as a 3D person, having to be a regular human being, I definitely understand how somebody feel like, nigga, you just know you suck, right? And to each his own.
How you feel about it? Like, do you have a perspective on it, Black Peace?
I think he just kind of sees the rat race in the NBA and just chooses not to go along with it. Feel like he has a better path with following the Lord, which I mean is always a better path than most things. And also I feel like it kind of shows you how the way the world can go, as much as he worked for that his whole entire life. And for him to do that, to change over to ministry. Not saying it's like a crazy decision. It's just like for you to have all that sacrifice and time and dreams to want to be in the NBA and you finally make it, and for you to say, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and do this. It kind of shows you the how much it means to him to be serving the Lord, and also it kind of shows you that life isn't always, you don't always have to conform to what you thought life had to offer for you. You know, there's always a different path sometimes, you know, just depending on what your path is giving you. So like it's like today to say more power to him, man. You know, just being real. I don't see why you couldn't do both. But hey, that may be the different way he's attacking being a servant of the Lord, which I can't, you know, everybody has their own different ways of doing it. So, but at the end of the day, I am curious of why you can't do both. But like I said, that may be just a deeper dedication more than anything else. Like I feel like I can praise the Lord and I can make a bucket. So, but hey, what he's, you know, defining it, hey, I get it. But just
Yeah,
I'm
it's
trying to do both.
because
Thank you,
I
Lord.
want to know too. Is it the baddies? Is it the fact that you think you get caught up in the baddies and being on the road, and then all of a sudden you just
So,
gone and you just the devil's best heathen, or
so
what?
I'm not I'm not saying I believe in it, but there is a narrative out there that it's alleged that he's a part of a cult, and I don't remember. I seen the tweet. I just didn't go deep down the wormhole of threads where it's just like apparently there may be some paper trail um of him being like in support of a particular political party, or maybe like some some correlation with Candace Owens and some cult or whatever the case may be, all that Illuminati stuff. So if you care to go down that wormhole for our listeners, I heard that that is a possibility that may have something to do with him, um, you know, denouncing it or retiring at the age of 21 from basketball to, you know, follow Christ. Um, so that's one angle to it that's out there. Again, not saying I believe in it, but when I seen this, bro, I thought about myself when I was like a kid, and y'all know like how much like basketball meant to me, and still does, but just at that particular time, right? And when I got older, I would like question. I was just like, dang, bro, like, damn, God, like, why you didn't let me go to the league like other people? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I did everything I was supposed to do, got up early, went to go work out, yada, 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 so on and so forth. But I know for a fact about myself that if I would have been given the opportunity to go to the NBA, the NBA would have been my God. 1010%. I know that of myself. If God would have allowed the cards to be so that I could go to the NBA, the NBA
You would have lost.
1010% would have been my God. And the scripture says there should be no gods before me, for I am a jealous God. And when I heard about AJ Griffin retiring, my mind instantly went there to where, you know, all your life, you know, it's been basketball, 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 basketball. And then you have this encounter where you're introduced to Christ, and you're learning more and more about him, and you're understanding that how Christ would want us to be, or how he would want us to walk, is pretty contradictory to like how much you give to your spirit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, God doesn't want you worshiping idols. Idols could be anything that you're putting before God. And for some people, like that could very well much so be your job. And not just basketball specifically, but you could put your job before God, whatever that job may be. And so that's where my mind went when I heard him, you know, heard that he was going to retire to, you know, follow Christ. Obviously, sometimes, you know, when God tells us to do things, it don't make sense, let alone to us, but especially to the outside world. You know what I'm saying? Uh, but yeah, man. So under the assumption that, you know, everything is, you know, clear and good, and it's not wrapped up in any, you know, cult like Illuminati minutia, you know, salute, and, you know, salute to dude. willing to make that sacrifice of, just I guess dying to his old self and, following Christ. A lot of people wouldn't do that. A lot of people would try to negotiate the matter. But when you say retire, Lord, like you mean like in 10
Yeah.
years?
Tell a Christian to go blow themselves up about some Jesus.
uh, but yeah, man, yeah, man. Yeah. So yeah, salute the dude for being able to make that leap of faith and follow Christ. Yeah, man. Um, Heisman Watch. So I don't know if I texted to y'all prior to, or I was texting somebody about it, but prior to the game of Georgia and Alabama, uh, this past weekend, I believe that this was going to be the game that could put Jalen Milroe. I always want to call him Jalen Milrose, but his name is Jalen Milroe. I felt like this Georgia Bama game was the opportunity for Jalen Milroe. We're gonna claim Ace Town, even though he went to Katy. He's from Katy, but shout out to Ace Town. This was his opportunity to climb up the ranks in the Heisman as a Heisman candidate. And he very well much so did that. Every game this season, 2 touchdowns passing, 2 touchdowns rushing, very unprecedented to do. But going before the game, he was like 4th or 5th in like the Heisman like odds to win a Heisman. And immediately after that game versus Georgia, he's pretty much skyrocketed up to number 1, if I'm not mistaken. But with that, I don't know how much college football y'all have been able to get into, but in addition to Jalen Milroe, who are some Heisman standouts for y'all?
I think it's a clear choice for Jalen Milroe. If he keeps on the way that he is now, I think it's, of course, it won't be unanimous, but as close as possible, because he's just carrying on from what he did last season. So, and he was in the race then. So I mean, I guess it's his time now. That's how I feel, right? And to not even be following college football actively like some of my peers, and to still hear him and he being a household name, and to watch that game, and that was a really good game against Georgia, and that was, so he looked like it. He looked like the Heisman. I'm sorry. The only other person is who I got off ESPN, and I watched some clips of him, and he looked good. Ashton Jeanty.
That boy cold. That boy
Yeah.
is video game cold.
Right. So
Ashton Jeanty.
But he would be the only one. But he can't be it, because Milroe is on a tear, and they both play the same position. So it what it is.
You say who played the same position, bro? I'm sorry.
I thought Ashton. Yeah. Ashton and
He was a running back.
Yeah, no, Ashton a running back and Milroe.
Oh, okay.
But
Yes. No. Yeah. No. It can't be.
what about you, Black Peace?
I want to say the young boy, the U. I think he still has potential to make some moves to be the Heisman.
Talking about Cam Ward.
Mr. Cam Ward, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Why do you feel like Cam Ward?
I feel like,
or what potential do you see right there?
Pressure. He's one of the players that I've noticed that has kind of been playing against the pressure for the most part. And also I feel like the game to the game, from what I've noticed, comes natural to him more than anything. Especially being in Miami, a rebuilding university, I guess you could say, trying to get back to the mountain, trying to get back to the mountaintop. I feel like They're doing a lot more than what they're projected to be. I feel like with Bama, a lot of teams have a system that makes them better than what they are. And I feel like that's what the product of Bama is.
But
Not
Bama
taking
under
too
new
much of
management though.
playbook still there, brother.
Saban
That
gone.
playbook's still there, brother.
I
That playbook's still there. I feel like to a certain extent,
disagree.
the right notes are still there, brother. The right notes are still there. To like, it's like maybe next year I'll feel like okay, he's fully removed, but I feel like there's still a Saban essence in that air. So I kind of feel like that kind of works against him until the season kind of proves it different. But I just like I like the fact of his comfortability as a quarterback, his confidence as a quarterback, his ability to be like, oh, I'm playing for Miami. It's not 1999 2000, but we definitely out here. We're trying to make some moves and we're trying to make a playoff push and make some playoff noise. So, and also, man, I mean, we can't all be for Mr. Milroe as well. You know, he is definitely my strong number 2.
Shout out to my wife's alma mater, that being the U. But out of those 4 players, I got Cam Ward as last on my list in terms of a Heisman candidate. And let me be clear, obviously he is balling, but him balling and his numbers do not equate to what Jalen is doing at the quarterback position. Again, every game, 2+ passing touchdowns, and 2 rushing touchdowns in every game this season. Cam Ward not doing that. Then Ashton Genty, 13 touchdowns and almost closing in on 1,000 yards rushing, and he only 4 games into the season. Then you talk about if we hadn't gave Travis his just due, playing over 100+ snaps in every game with a touchdown, I forget how many 100+ receiving games, and on top of that, he got 2 games I want to say with a touchdown and an interception.
How you feel about Shedeur then?
No,
Trash.
I'm not saying Shedeur is trash. I'm just
I'm
saying
saying
it
it.
relates to this Heisman.
Yeah,
Black kids are saying
I'm
that.
saying it.
Well, yeah. All right. I'll let you finish. I apologize. Finish. You was on the right path.
As it relates to this Heisman conversation, um, if I had to pick right now, bro, just off respect for the game, and we've seen quarterbacks come a dime a dozen doing what being spectacular as Jalen Milroe, I would give it to Travis just to respect the game. And I feel like for him not to get it, if you had to choose today, would be an utter disrespect to the game, considering we should all know, at least true football players should know, how difficult what he's doing is. Both sides of the ball, playing elite on both sides of the ball. And like, this not no half-ass, like mediocre. Like, no, he's giving you your receiving yards. He's getting you your touchdowns. He's getting you your interceptions. I think what he's doing is
Tackles and all, by the way.
Tackles and all. What he's doing is like unprecedented, and we don't get to see that every single year. Like, we can't act like we just gonna get to randomly see that in the next 2 or 3 years with another player.
But we haven't seen that in about 10 years.
My point exactly, which is why like we're capturing lightning in a bottle, being able to see Travis Hunter do what he's being able to do, which I think is Heisman worthy.
I think the last person that did that was Devin Hester.
I do still feel like, has he played anybody worthy yet where it sticks? Granted, I'm not taking away from him. I'm just finding he played anybody where it sticks yet.
Well, he's been doing it since he
On
started.
both sides, or at least one side is overpowered. Where the
but
corner
here's the
you're
thing,
playing
though.
against is overpowering, or the receiver you're playing against is overpowering.
Granted, I would say, to your point, right? He doesn't have control over who he plays.
Facts.
However, the team, like, they just went to go play UCF. They were underdogs, and they came out on top in their game. Him, touchdown, interception. So it's just like, not everybody can play Bama every week not saying that's what you're saying,
That's
but like
fine. Yeah, yeah.
not everybody can. So they just like, whoa.
I wouldn't want to do that.
Suicide.
Not everybody. You can't play Bama and Georgia every single week to try to like up your stake. Like this is just not realistic in terms of your scheduling. Like he's playing the team, he's playing the players that are in front of him, and he's dominating again on both
But
sides of the ball.
facts, but at the same time, though, UCF is more of an offensive powered team from what I've noticed because they have that dynamic running back and also have that dynamic quarterback. And granted, only the quarterback showed up that day, and the running back took a day off for some strange reason mentally. Um, which I
That
feel like was
didn't
their
take away.
downfall.
That didn't take away from Travis being great though.
No, that's fine, but I feel it took away from like just that game in particular because you brought it up. I just feel like that was like more of a like, okay, they figured out how to finally stop the run. Therefore, they made it one-dimensional and they made it hard on them. But I still feel like I quite haven't seen him play against an elite receiver. And like you said, it's not his, he don't have no control over that. But I want to see him play against at least an elite receiver or a shutdown corner to where I can kind of get a little level of like, okay, are you just torturing people that suck? Or you actually like that? Like it ain't gotta be obviously on a repeated scale, but I want to see test the waters so I can know, like, okay, bro, like it ain't just the fact that you can do both and you're playing against okay teams, like it works on a higher level scale. Like, okay, you actually are really good. So
I got a
that's how I
question.
feel about it. How I feel about it when you know what he didn't play when Oregon came, but like when they played the big dogs last year, I didn't really notice Travis be Travis. Granted, he was injured, came off an injury, but just like that's what I want to see this year. I want to see like big dogs, like known guys on certain sides of the football. I want to see him show up. Now, I'm not taking away from his talent, but that's why I'm not like blown away. I'm just like, I mean, what big name have you shut down? Like if you're looking up right now, EMAC, any big name schools, like that's what I'm curious of. I want to see how he matches up in those scenarios because that's what the next level brings is next level superstars. You're gonna play against CD Lamb. You're gonna play against Nico Collins. You're gonna play against Davante Adams. You know what I'm saying? And you're gonna be up against Josh, not Josh Norman. He's out.
They
Ramsey, and you're gonna be going up against Diggs. You're gonna go up against Stingley and Sauce.
Patrick
Like that's what
Surtain.
I want to know.
they have as of now they have two ranked teams on their schedule, that being Kansas State and that being Utah at 18. Utah is ranked 18 and Kansas State is ranked 20. And they have a bye week this week. So yeah.
As far as you know, any elite players on one of those sides of the ball,
If
either
I'm not
receiving or
mistaken, I want
corner.
to say Cincinnati. I think his last name is Henderson. I think he's a decent wideout for Cincinnati. Last name Henderson. But 4 out of 5 games, 4 out of 5 games, Travis has over 100 yards receiving. He's got 500 over 500 receiving yards, 6 touchdowns, and he may have more than 2 interceptions. I just think he has 2 games with a touchdown and an interception. Which
That is
again,
great. Those are great numbers. I'm not doubting that. I just want to know that next level because I feel like Heisman is just like that's where it can be broken very easily. Your stock can drop just like that. We're right going up against that perfect matchup of okay, this is another league player you're going up against now. Like let's see how you play up against this, and you choke up, and next your stock drops. Or if you do good enough, it stays level or it goes up. So that's just what that's what
yeah,
I'm just not bought yet.
yeah, he got on the defensive end, 16 total tackles, 2 interceptions, 3 pass deflections, 1 forced fumble.
That is a lot. That's great, but to college players, I just want to know against a
I think
lady.
this
I want to
this
know up
this
against a
isn't this is an assumption because we haven't seen it on tape. But to your point of you would like to see it against top tier talent. I think if you put Travis at Alabama or Georgia, he does the same thing, no questions asked. That's my personal
On
opinion.
both sides of the
Oh,
ball.
you know what?
Yeah. Whew.
I want to see it against Ryan Williams. If I want to see that, I want to see that talent against that talent.
Yeah,
and that would kind of give me an idea.
that's a heavyweight match. Because
Woo!
I think what you're saying is you don't know how to give him his full proper grading because you don't really know how to gauge the talent he's really been going up against.
Exactly. Like, granted, I'm not taking away from those fellas, but just like I need to see some first rounders you're going up against to where I just get like an idea. You don't have to shut them down, but I just need to know, like, okay, on that scale, you get torched by that first rounder. I'm sorry, bro. You're not Heisman. It
What
don't make
I
no sense. You shouldn't get torched at all, really.
one of the things that I learned about the Heisman from my wife, I forget, it was somebody, I forget who the player was when she was at Miami, but they were trying to maybe she took a class, but to win the Heisman, it's not solely about what you do on the field. It's also about the marketing campaign your school can put behind you to continuously put you in the face of people and the propaganda and the media. And so I think Ashton Genty going to Boise, I don't feel like that's a big enough powerhouse school that I don't think ESPN has Ashton Genty and Boise State like on any primetime game. I don't think that was ever on a docket coming into this season, right? But Colorado are going to get some primetime games coming into the season. Bama is going to get primetime games coming into the season. So therefore, they get to see Jalen Milroe. They get to see Travis Hunter. Miami has had some primetime games, so they get to see Cam Ward. I feel like Ashton not being able to be in front of the big stage, the lights, the primetime games. I think that's what's gonna cause him to take a hit with his Heisman votes, just in terms of that marketing campaign. Obviously, Bama is Bama, so and then it's a quarterback. 10 out of the last 12 Heisman winners have been quarterbacks, so like that obviously works in the favor of Jalen Milroe. But stacking all of their numbers and their statistics, I think first you got to have the numbers, then you got to have those big moment type games, and then you got to make sure the marketing campaign is also behind you from your school. I don't think Cam Ward Cam Ward's schedule is week 2. Like he doesn't play no Bama or anything like that. So I don't think he's really going to get an opportunity to be like he's the elite of the elite in college football because he doesn't have to play a Georgia. He doesn't have to play a Bama. So I think that's going to hurt him because I don't think he's really going to have like a marquee game where he can solidify himself like Jalen Milroe did being able to go up against Georgia. But yeah, we'll see. But that's how I would rank it. I would say Travis, Jalen, Ashton, and then Cam Ward in terms of as of today. Yeah. But
so you have Travis Hunter going number 1.
Yeah, bro. I think Travis deserves it, bro. We get to see quarterbacks be great a dime a dozen, but again, what Travis is doing is unprecedented. And like for him to not get the Heisman, I feel like his greatness would get lost in college football history if he doesn't get the Heisman.
I feel like also I was robbed of an experience last year when he got injured for him to play against Oregon, and I think against I don't think he played Washington, but he played against Oregon. I think I would have felt a little bit more confident in choosing him for the Heisman because of like, okay, you went against draft quarterback, draft receiver. Like I know what to expect. But like since he missed that opportunity, I'm just like, I'm sorry. Like I need certain evidence to prove it for me. So but still, man, hey, shout out to Travis. I'm not a hater. I'm just a realist, bro. Hopefully you can understand that, my brother. But I am
let's I mean, you had brought it up. Shedeur is trash. Elaborate.
He's trash in the sense of you take away his weapons, I don't see nothing about him. Like I believe a lot of his for him to succeed, which of course, I mean, offense is supposed to do that for a quarterback, but I feel like it's catered for him by any means for him to succeed more than anything. And granted, Travis is a Heisman candidate. I just feel like
It sounds like what you're saying is if he had this, like, I don't want to speak for you.
every
Just finish
piece
your thought.
possible is made for him to from the like just everything. It just feels like even his body language may even cater to the way the offense blocks for him. Like, okay, Shedeur, he does this often, so let's make sure we don't let that happen to him. It's like it's overly emphasized with him rather than catering for the receivers or for the running backs. And I kind of feel like his quote unquote greatness is expunged. It's like, how aren't you throwing for over 300 yards when you're getting so many opportunities? When you have a star like Travis Hunter, when you have a good receiver like Joe Horn Jr., who's the son of Joe Horn from the Saints. If you know, you know. So I just feel like, bro, like it just kind of like, bro, you give him so many weapons. How aren't you supposed to be showing great numbers? But like you play against these big dogs, you're getting sacked. You're on the floor. You don't know how to think for some strange reason. You fall into these points of just like not being a good quarterback, and you make excuses of, oh, well, their offensive line is blocking for their quarterback. Mine isn't technically. So it's just like you find these excuses when you're downfall, but when you're up, you're showing your watch, and it's just like I don't see any consistency of talent. I see consistencies
Being a
of
winner,
riding your wave. You're riding like, okay, if I'm sucking, it's everybody else's fault. If I'm good, hey man,
my
I'm the
fault.
greatest. I don't like that.
Okay, then. Okay. Um,
My boy said Bubba Dub.
In other words, a goddamn spoiled brat. He's getting everything possible for him to succeed. And when he succeeds, I'm not impressed.
you feel like you feel like he's like his success is like heavily catered slash manufactured, like it.
Absolutely. Wait till he gets drafted or wait till he leaves. You will
And
see
it,
exactly what I mean. It's that Dion's gonna be there and it's not gonna work nowhere near the same. And it's gonna he has to start all over because he catered that offense to be for Shedeur, for him to be the star, for him to be this over 300 yards, 2+ touchdown quarterback, period. And it's just like that's why they lose. It's like, okay, when Shedeur is figured out, or they find a way to take away his weapons, there's nothing else you can do at all. You look
what do
garbage.
you say to like the rebuttal being like, well, that's any quarterback. If you take away their weapons, like, what do you expect them to do?
It's more of
You can't take away the best quarterback's weapons.
that's they're gonna figure something out. Like you
Mm-hmm.
take away his weapons, he's literally standing around getting sacked all
Yeah,
day. Like there is no
Lamar gonna use his
improvising.
legs.
Go ahead, you got it.
I'm my bad, bro. I was just
No, no,
gonna
no,
say
no, literally. Like I can't
Lamar.
find the words. No, you got it.
I was just gonna say Lamar would use his legs. Peyton, Brady, and Aaron Rodgers are perfect with the check down. They're perfect with the getting you off sides. Free plays is just they're technicians, and you want a technician to be behind the center. You don't want someone who is finicky or who is inconsistent, especially if they're inconsistent. Is always someone else's fault other than their own studying and planning.
Literally couldn't have said it better, my brother. Literally. That's exactly what I mean. It's just like we need to see your talent rather than like the playbooks.
Yeah. I haven't seen him take over a game yet. This is me personally.
Like that Hail Mary, bro, that was you literally said what was supposed to happen. You created a version with Travis Hunter and you throw it to the guy who you think is not supposed to get it. That's literally what you said, and that is the play that was supposed to happen. That wasn't you being great. That wasn't you being talented and being this awesome football player. That was you going with the play call for you to do.
I seen this comment on Instagram basically asking the question, is Shador as popular as Johnny Manziel?
Hell no.
Oh,
Okay.
Hell
absolutely not.
That's how I felt too. I just want to,
Absolutely not.
yeah, I just want to know y'all take on it too. But okay.
He has his
Hey,
physical
tell
body
whoever
working
posted
against
that
him.
don't ever come for Texas ever again. What?
Oh
It was
man.
my size taking
Always
over
good.
college football, and I am 5'6", folks. This dude was like 2-3 inches taller than me, and
It was
taking over college football.
It's always bigger in Texas.
Yeah,
Pause.
I said the name Johnny Football should tell you all you need to know.
The hell,
We
Although
going
the
named,
through the
old rock
purple
star
switches and
and a quarterback.
everything, killing them boys.
yeah, man. Before we move on, we have a special announcement. We want to take this time out to give a shout out to the very supportive significant other of Sedacious, that being, well, I don't want to say your lady name on here, but nonetheless, shout out to her for posting the pod on IG. We appreciate the support.
Hey.
Looking out, we don't take that for granted. Yeah.
Baby, we appreciate
they
Shout
talking,
out.
they talking about you out here, baby. But nah, shout out to you, sister-in-law. Shout out to you for the support you posting the pod. Oh, also too, we had 66 subscribers, which I just found out when she posted that. So hey man, thank y'all for listening to the pod. I know I always say it, and I'm not ending when I say it, but like I'm just big on appreciation, showing appreciation and giving thanks, man. So appreciate y'all subscribing. And yeah, man, keep sharing the pod with everybody. We really appreciate it. Um,
And we're trying to figure out a way to go live so where y'all can watch it the same day that we are recording it. But just give us time. Jesus.
Give us time.
We
We're
can
gonna
work
get
hard
there.
enough to get a sponsor. And when the sponsor start paying our bills and our travel and all of our expenses, then we're good. Until then, wait for God how we are.
Nah, real talk, man. Yo, so this month is always the toughest for me personally on my marriage, simply because
Every sport is
Manhood,
you ain't going through it by yourself, man.
manhood, baby.
Yeah, man. This month is always one of the toughest months that weighs heavy on my marriage, simply because my wife, well, I have to say this, the start of the NBA season is it's like it's interrupted by like my wife's birthday. And I struggle with splitting my time, you know what I'm saying? And I'm saying all this to say that we're in October and the NBA is around the corner, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, man. And it's the first, obviously it's October 1st. So
We betting on everything.
yeah, I had the conversation with my wife when I woke up this morning, and I just told her, I was just like, hey, I'm gonna do the best I can for your birthday, but like after your birthday, I don't exist. Uh,
Right.
and shout out to her for being supportive and understanding.
Shout out to her.
Yeah, man. Shout out to my baby. But
Shout
nah,
out to all our wives. Real quick, you know what I'm saying?
Gang.
Letting
yeah,
us
man.
do this man meeting till 10:30 every Tuesday night.
Nah, man. But nah, interlude into the NBA really. Karl Anthony Towns expected to is not necessarily official, air quotes, expected to be traded to the Minnesota. No. Karl Anthony Towns is getting traded to the Knicks, and Julius Randle in exchange for Julius Randle going to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Who do y'all feel like won this trade?
I think it's a no-brainer, bro. But I'm gonna let you go first, Black Peace.
My apologies. I was trying to do some fact checking. I apologize. I'm gonna hit you with the curveball, man. I actually believe this was been more beneficial to Minnesota.
Oh, okay. Ooh,
I don't feel
boy,
like.
you scared me.
Oh yeah, I don't feel like
You said curveball. I'm like,
No, I don't feel like Karl Anthony Towns will be a D fit for that team. I'm not quite sure about the details of it, but I feel it's not the right placement for him. And I feel like it just gives a lot more of the driving of the steering wheel to Anthony Edwards in Minnesota more than anything else. So that's why I say it's more beneficial. I don't think it's more beneficial as far as talent. I think it just gives Anthony Edwards that this is definitely, no question about it, your team. And there's nobody here to make you feel any kind of way about it or for anything for you to question. Not like he actually cared, but just that little bit of confidence from the actual organization saying, hey, man, other guy's out of here, man. You're the guy. So being with his personality, I think he's going to latch on to that. I feel like he's the type of guy um that Randall, I think, will latch on to and take on a kind of Kobe-ish feel to it, like that killer mentality and that vocal killer mentality. Um, Nothing against Brunson. I just think Brunson was a little bit more on the quieter side, a little more on the buddy side. I feel like Anthony Edwards is has a more killer personality and is going to speak out to him and it's going to encourage him to like do better. But yeah, I just don't think the Knicks is nice, but I don't think it makes them more stronger than what they were. They have a technically the same player, just a little bit more bigger, about the same physicality, and that's about it, man. Just honestly a bigger version of it, bigger version.
I'm gonna go left field with this. You ever go to a friend's house, right? And you chilling with the friend when you first get there, and everything seems cool, you know what I'm saying? Y'all hanging out, and then the friend's lady friend comes out, and then they exchange words, and you don't hear what they're saying. You mind your business, you just playing the game or doing whatever with your friend. And then his girlfriend or wife walks into her room and slam the door, right? And it's like, you wouldn't have thought that nothing was wrong, right? Until she slams the door. Right. This is how I feel about this, simply because I'm trying to figure out who the girlfriend is. Is it the Minnesota Timberwolves, who's like, hey, we don't want you no more, but we need to get something for you. So we're gonna go out here and we're gonna get what we're gonna get. Or was the relationship between I forget what's
New York Knicks and Julius.
And
Julius Randle. Yes, yes.
and also Dante DiVincenzo, I forgot about him.
Okay, yeah, no. So now, thank you. Now I know the girlfriend was the Minnesota Timberwolves, because they was like, nigga, we don't want you no more. You can get on up out of here, and we're gonna see what we can get for you. And then not only did she get a better man, but he came with a side nigga. And so that's just how that went. It's a clear, obvious. What? What are we talking about? In no way, shape, or form does Karl Anthony Towns upgrade the New York Knicks, right? One could say, well, how it could just be a flip, it could just be a flip flop. You know what I'm saying? They can just be, they can just be swapping bodies. Pause. But
no, I'm sorry, bro. You can finish. I'm sorry.
no, bro, I don't see it. And I laughed earlier while Darnell was speaking, because I'm just as confused as him, because I'm trying to figure out in what way would he? I don't see it. I don't see it. Karl Anthony Towns has not one aggressive bone in his body, if you ask me. Unless he's playing someone that he feels is lesser than him, that he can dominate, then we'll see it. But other than that, no. I think Julius Randle will be a great compliment, and Dante DiVincenzo would be great compliments to Ant out there in Minnesota. So yeah, no brainer. I think they win, and that's it for me.
Sean Hart Izzo, he said he believes the move it allows more room for Naz Reid to blossom. while adding more defense and shooting in DiVincenzo. Addition by subtraction. Randle gives more grit defensively while still allowing him to be a double-double threat. For me personally, I don't feel like this moved the needle in terms of championship aspirations for either team. When I seen that they traded away KAT, which everybody is saying is for cap reasons, salary cap reasons. I was just like, damn, y'all couldn't get rid of Rudy, but I know don't nobody want Rudy, right? And so this is how I view the Julius Randle situation outside of DiVincenzo being a good addition. Julius Randle, obviously his health is in question. You would like to believe he's healthy coming into the season. He's getting traded away from the Knicks with them essentially saying, hey, we don't want you. We're going to ride off into the sunset with Jalen Brunson. And as we're trading you, we're not trading you in a situation where you could go build your own foundation or build your own team. We're sending you away to essentially go be a number two because that's Anthony Edwards' team now. How will Julius Randle respond to that? I don't know. Therefore, I have skepticism as to how smoothly this may or may not work out for the Timberwolves, considering whatever mental space Julius Randle may be in coming into the season, knowing, hey, you're the number two. This ain't your team, and you have to adjust to us as opposed to us adjusting to you. Me personally, when I watched him play in New York, I feel like he was a certified jack artist. Maybe rightfully so, because he had the green light to take as many shots as he wanted to. But I think, I'm not in love with that. I'm not in love with that in terms of like championship aspirations. I would say, yeah, the Knicks won because they got rid of Julius Randle, so they don't have to deal with that anymore. And yeah, and I know Izzo, talking about Naz Reid, and obviously, you having Naz Reid, him performing how he performed in the playoffs, and you having him for like a much cheaper price than you got Karl Anthony Towns is probably why they was like, all right, we'll get rid of Karl. But yeah, man, the Julius Randle thing, I'm not. I can no longer just like I guess go along to get along just to like avoid like how much of an outsider I may be. It doesn't wow me. It doesn't wow me at all. I think this is a make or break year for Julius Randle just in terms of like the trajectory of his career. Does he have a higher altitude to go in terms of his game? Or have we already seen like the ceiling of what his game could be, which is ISO, ball stopper, chunk artists, and so forth. So yeah, that's my take on it. But yeah, man. Outside of that, shout out to the Texans. Y'all handle business against the Jaguars. We 3-1. Big test coming up this week against the Bills. I really need us to respond way better than we did versus the Minnesota Vikings. Yeah, Dace, you have any assessment on the NFL or your beloved Cowboys before we sign off?
First Sunday night game for the Cowboys is going to be a spectacle. Can't wait. It's going to be a party everywhere that there are Cowboys fans. I lost fantasy football last week. In my defense, Rashid Rice got hurt, and I didn't know Davante Smith was hurt, so I didn't take him out. But we're not making no excuses. We're just moving on to the next week, and we'll just see how we all shake out. But other than that, go Cowboys, people.
Hey, considering the night that Derrick Henry had, I don't think it mattered if you played Rashid Rice or Davante Smith. Because they just playing horrible right now. The Eagles. Obviously, they not at full strength, but yeah.
And my wife is 3-1, so that's a
Yeah, that's cool.
silver line.
That's cool. Yep. All right.
Yeah. She be Bruce, by the way, y'all. Yeah.
Ruthless.
Yeah.
Ruthless
man.
Reckless by Edward McFarlane. Ruthless Reckless.
He's upset, y'all. It's okay.
Hey, somebody upset. I got upset. I lost off Monday. I was good and clean all the way up until fucking Monday night. Sorry,
What?
Todd.
I just
Yeah, I
knew
lost
you was
them.
gonna win.
Bruh,
Who you
tell me
lost
about it.
to?
So
Chinese.
Chinese. I was up, and
Hey,
then
Bro,
the last
how
2 games
that
got.
happened?
dog, I appreciate AK because when Saquon opened up the season with the hat trick and he had 3 tutties, that was against me when Tynese had him. But some kind of way, I still won that week 1.
Boy.
Nah, but I was looking at Tynese because I want to say he played. I want to say he played my wife, but I'm not sure. I think he played. Oh no, she played Isaac this week, but I think she played
She smacked
Tynese.
him up.
I think she played Isaac too. He left Joe Mixon in and somebody else. I think it was.
I was sliding through. I'm like, oh shit.
Nah, bro. This year, bro, I've like figured out how you supposed to go about winning. And I've been just trying to cater to that as much as I possibly can. Fingers crossed, no injuries. But like, I see how you're supposed to play fantasy football now, and I'm hoping that like this is like at least my best year ever if I don't win at all. Um, but uh, but yeah, man. Beautiful people. This is what you call a great episode, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for getting us up to 66 subscribers. Also, too, we got the Twitter page, which is in the comments, as well as the Instagram page. Go follow all of those in addition to subscribing to the YouTube channel. We will be grateful, grateful, grateful for it. Long live Uncle Leon, man. Long live Uncle Leon. Yeah, man, we love you, beautiful people, and we will see you next week. This is the Respect the Game podcast.